What's good, guys? Today we're going to talk about trading and specifically how you should be studying trading as a retail trader. Let's get into this right now. This is from my lens, my view. You can take something from this no matter what you're studying, I believe. And this comes from someone who was never an academic until the age of like 22, 23, when I started to actually study trading through like technically what you could definitely class as a online curriculum, and studying that like my life depended on it. So I'm going to tell you how you can study trading to retain as much information as possible that will last you for years. So when you're consuming visual content, both sides of your brain will be, when it comes to the studying side of it, both sides of your brain will be activated when you write with a pen and paper. So your left logical side of your brain and your right creative side of your brain will both be activated as you write manually. So just make sure you're writing things down manually. And if you're watching videos that you're studying, pause the video as you go along. Quite a few times you will have to do that, and write down how you understood what was just said or shown, and that's you embodying it and really taking the time to digest it as you learn it. When it comes to visual studies, like if you're being shown theory on a chart, like diagrams of trades and like the mechanics behind a trade, and someone dissecting a setup to show you what's happening to constitute that setup, you should, and especially with most traders now, how it's all with candles on the chart on TradingView, you should definitely pause or use PDFs if there's PDFs that you're studying from, and images, and write and draw the actual trades and setups, and draw the chart on paper and draw the candles and annotate it, and use a ruler, use a pencil, make it as neat as possible, make it borderline artwork, and make it like it's the English Constitution that was written to be preserved for generations to come, because that's how you will operate when it comes to being an actual engineer in the markets. If that's how you start off doing that when you're at the lower stages, then you will carry that on forward. And it's just, that's how you retain things. That's how you deeply understand things. And another thing we're going to say about is spaced repetition learning. So when you want to study a specific topic, it could be fundamentals like central bank news, or it could be liquidity grabs, or it could be trend line setups, or how the RSI works, anything like that. Create it as a subcategory on on your own personal record somehow. Could be an easy way to do it would be through Excel or Google Sheets spreadsheet. Write the topic and then do a column for the date, and then once you've done a session on that, do like a color or a score, like out of 5, or green to red, or amber in the middle, and that's going to indicate how much you understood that session, how much you understood the topic from that session. So you studied an RSI lesson and you understood probably half of what you was watching, and you that put 3 3 out of 5 or 2.5 out of 5 or an orange, because you sort of half understood it. If you do a lesson a week later or a few days later, it's good to treat it like the gym, like go back to it within 2 or 3 days to keep the muscle growing. It's the same thing with your mental capacity for this stuff. Go back and maybe you understood it like a lot more. You let, during your downtime and your rest periods, you let the information sort of marinate, and as you was on your walk the next day, you thought it kind of clicked a bit more or something like that. And the next time you do a session on that topic, you put green, or you put 4.5 out of 5 because you really get it. And that's how you're going to track and go through which topics you are pretty confident with, that you know about, and what you need to learn elsewhere. And of course you can use this method for studying anything, but at the start of your journey in trading, it's going to be important for you to learn a lot about the markets, and then you're going to be able to build models through various different means, no matter what level you're at in the future. So also something that I did, which I think is worth doing, is when you have finished a lesson or a session, a study session, close off the laptop, take the PDF off the screen, shut the book, turn off the video, whatever, just get away from where you was consuming and look the other way, completely blank off all noise, everything, and write down everything that you can possibly write down about what you just learned. And that's you showing what you've retained instantly, straight away after. So you're reinforcing what you've learned, and you're learning yourself, you're telling yourself how much you actually retained straight away. Just a very positive exercise to do. So as a beginner, that's definitely a good way to study. That there was 3 things I said there, just about the quality of work when you are studying, and the detail you go into, and doing drawings and writing with hand. Use your best handwriting, make your book look really neat, be proud of it. And then the actual writing down what you've learned straight after the session, and then grading your understanding over time of these topics. And then the knowledge will just really stick for years and years, and that muscle memory of like how you can view the markets and how that information can be so close to the front of your mind anytime that you delve into theory of trading or engineering of models. It's just absolutely brilliant. And apart from that, when it comes down to actually engineering models and the idea phase of creating a model, the ideas are going to be there in abundance. The passion's going to be there, and the quality and just impressiveness and attention to detail will be there, and that's all on you to implement that. And then it's gonna be a natural process, and then really learning to trade and how to trade and how to structure your model and implement it, and execute it. That's going to be a whole different ball game, but you're going to have the foundations there so that you can be quite easily shaped with the right guidance into the person who's going to be able to execute and generate real strategies from these ideas that you will have the foreknowledge of how to create. And I hope you enjoyed some of that. Enjoy yourself in the markets and this process.